side that Tammy Lynn Ortman of Lewis and Capps Law Firm, she's a director. Uh, she submitted a warranty deed forgery in February 5th, 2015. She gave the date of March the 13th, 2008. She really screwed up. That goes to the property uh 938 South 17th. This warranty deed is reportedly under a foreclosure case, two foreclosure cases, because there's a foreclosure mill, judicial foreclosure mill operating here in Wayne County, and it was discovered and it was put into registered mail, sent to the clerk, sent to the court. They know. They're fully aware because what happened was they brought in this lady here, another attorney, to try to fix these matters because they got busted. And instead of any corrective action to date, nothing has happened except further retaliation by the government and public elected officials. And this is what I pay taxes for. I say it's a good case not to pay anything. Can't even do an identity theft report on tiny little children. I have a duty to defend my family, my offspring, and my offspring's offspring. And this court, Judge Gregory Alton Horn to be exact, the man Gregory, hey Gregory, you have an oath of office, right? You took an oath under the Constitution. You have a contract under that constitutional oath. And you can't act in fraud in any way, shape, or form, not even in the administrative side of this, and you have as an officer. So Tammy Lynn Ortman entered two warranty deeds into a foreclosure case. I don't want to have to redo all this again, but these are the two warranty deeds that Tammy Lynn Ortman has put into a foreclosure case that's reportedly for 422 Randolph Street. I did an anchor date recording that shows the property that the actual land and property that Rachel Diddy reportedly bought, 422 Randolph Street, was tied to a 938 South 17th via an undisclosed land contract. They're operating under anchor dates, and a seasoned title professional from Freedom Title told me this, actually gave me the document, and there is an anchor date search that I will include at the end of this, but these are the two, or at the beginning of this probably. So here's the two warranty deeds that Tammy Lynn Ortman and U.S. Bank, other attorneys, Foudy and Foudy, a Wendy Kitchell, and there was a Rochelle Ragusi and David Andrew, I believe. Tammy Lynn Ortman entered into the case, and along with a Jennifer Ortman from Lewis and Capps Law Firm. So there were two warranty deeds entered into one foreclosure case for 422 Randolph Street that was filed in 2012. This all ties back to a 2006 undisclosed sheriff's deed that was not disclosed on the record that kept the owners the same. They're doing the same thing again because they're stupid asses. They don't know what they're doing because they don't understand. They continue to do this and they're digging themselves deeper and deeper. This is massive, massive fraud, and we got the big players here. They're not very good at it. So I'm looking at what has happened this year in 2015 under this property, and still to this date, the recorders down there, the court, the judicial officer, and it's the clerk of courts, they still have it under the name of Rachel Diddy and Carol Isaacs. Now, Carol Isaacs holds an interest for her minor heirs and has power of attorney, and it's very specific power of attorney and a will. And that's an interest for those heirs, correct? So this judge allowed all this fraud to go on. He allowed two mortgages into the case with different dates and different set of facts, different, altercations, and two warranty deeds into the case. And all of it was, anything that they put in, it was countered effectively. They haven't answered it effectively to date. And the judge is totally biased because he was the one who represented Pamela White, aka Pamela Medford, he gave an address of West End Bank for Pamela White, aka Pamela Medford, aka Pamela Reed. Gregory Alton Horn did. And the other attorney who represented her husband in the divorce I don't even know if these people are real. Um, I just know the attorneys that are representing them at the time. He was Ronald Lloyd Cross, the county attorney that also is the president of Title Abstracts of Richmond that's hooked onto U.S. Bank, the foreclosing bank servicer, they're saying, in this foreclosure case. And that's hooked on via Skywalk, and they're all operating behind the scenes in the judicial mill, folks, under this Deutsche Bank National Trust. So this is just a showing of the documents on very specific one purchase, one property, and how it spanned out and what the pattern for the fraud is. So here she entered 2 warranty deeds into the record, and I'm going to play it, and then I'll move on to the next round. UI 318, and then notice this, because I'm going to show you the certified copy from the actual land records office. But notice that. And what I could do is I'll highlight it so we can come back. March 14th, it's a copy of what was already given to her. But we need to go back, because this is what Tammy put into court. See, the 607, 1225, 2 page. What we can know about that. This is what's in the land records. This is what Tammy Lynn Ortman produced. And she produced it again, and the judge gave her away, saying it was unopposed. It was opposed the last time. It's been opposed every single time up until the Honorable Gregory Alton Horn bamboozled Rachel. There was plenty of witnesses there, and wouldn't let her speak. Was intimidating and threatened, and did eventually make good to put out a warrant on her, and they threatened to put her in jail until they ignored this and produced this kind of papers in this court. This is, I mean, if the judges pointed in this direction, and he helped her get here, this chick, this Ortman. Anyway, as you can see, and if you can't, I could go down to 100%, I think. Yeah, that'll make it a lot better, won't it? Then I can just go back up. Didn't think about that. Sorry about that, folks. This will make it a lot better. So, there we go. This is Tammy Lynn Ortman's true and accurate copy. Well, this is a copy as well. Let's see if everything's right here. Yep. Yes, everything's the same here. And of course there was that clerk's certification. Sometimes they put it on the front page, sometimes they put it on the back. It depends. Like over at the courthouse, they'll put it on not every page. So I'm messing up. Oh, there we go. That's on the second page here, which is where I'm going to go. Remember, this one's from the land records from Deborah Rash, and this one is from Tammy Lynn Ortman entering it into the court. And see the brass tacks. That would be the first set of keywords. Everything up is pretty much the same here, except for the pixels and speckled artwork here on the page. Oh, yeah. Except for this too, I forgot. Now we'll get down to the nitty gritty, and I'll be done with this document, and we'll be moving on to the next one. And it's on the hard copies, just as plain as day. That is not an H she has there. And this is what kind of bull crap's being put into the courts to take these properties. Even when somebody, you can't, you go in there and they act like what you say doesn't, they don't understand. What the hell? I mean, what the hell? Give me a break. Let me just go on up on that. You see that? This is what Tammy Lynn Ortman put in. Let's put some yellow to it, see if that helps it any. And then let's minimize it. And let's put some yellow to this too. See if that helps it any. Okay, folks. Original anchor date report. That's what a lot of people are talking about. Here's one. This term was first used to me by a seasoned licensed professional from Freedom Title Company who was helping me because I told her that I thought my grandchildren's identity was stolen. So, this is 2422 Randolph Street, which is the Lot 154, Haynes addition to the city of Richmond. So here's the first page of it, and this is what the lady handed me. These are my notes as well. So they transposed these numbers in the original case when they came against Rachel for the wrongful foreclosure. They transposed these two numbers. That's Freedom Title gave me these. I want to go back because, yeah, I want to go back because I've got some forensic investigators and some very key people, authors and things like that interested in this. Here's something I just noticed. 3/20/2003. This would be Annette and Charles Scott. This ties into the anchor date that you see later. But Charles and Annette Scott signed on 3/13 of 2003, reportedly. And I've talked to Charles and Annette Scott. I'm in touch with former homeowners on these three properties, or at least three of them, because there's four initially. There was the 422 Randolph Street, a city property, the 4393 U.S. Highway 35. Haven't contacted that Tony S. Bond. That's tied to the Rachel's oldest offspring, the state issued identity being hijacked down to Spencer County, Indiana, and then there's the 10,007 U.S. Highway or State Road 38, Greens Fork, Indiana, which is a county property. And then there's the 4924 U.S. Highway 35 that has the biological mother, her birth certified name and birth certified information tied, and that's under the bio mom tied to daughter stolen identity video. So Tammy Lynn Ortman on February 5th, 2015 entered a date of 3/13/2008 wrongfully. But she didn't do it wrongfully. She did it because she knows she's coming in to fix this. She's the fixer, right? Didn't fix it very well, Tammy. No wonder you were quivering. I thought you were afraid of the judge. You need to know that you cannot do this. If somebody goes into in the judicial, is it not true? State Administrative Court, Indiana Supreme Court, Judicial Commission, is it not true that if somebody has basically stated the facts, told the judge basically that he has an interest in the property, given him back a shadow docket, caught all of this on the record. Deborah Berry knows best, that anybody can call her. Deborah Rash at the Land Records knows about it. All these agencies have known about it. It's been reported to him. Thousands and thousands of dollars, thousands of documents sent. It is now 2015 and nothing's been done to date. Are you having fun yet with everybody? And y'all play games up there at Congress acting like you're going to really investigate anything. You make me sick. There's thousands and thousands of warrants on the heads of our youth, and you have done nothing but perpetuated this fraud. It is a continuing criminal enterprise. So here you got this case, this attorney being brought in. She's tying it to the former owners, this young lady who didn't do anything wrong. She had a job. She had good credit. They stole her children's identity. The county and city attorney the law firm that the county and city attorney, the county attorney is the president of. Judge Snow used to be the president of it. And this Judge Horn is operating with this Charles Hyde, who took a voluntary layoff from being an attorney, right? No wonder you guys aren't going after him, because he's part of your judicial mill. So's Paul Stickle. And you put Kathy Puckett in jail. Well, maybe you should. I bet you should have put Paul Stickle in jail. And West End Bank? West End Bank. That's Pamela White, the former owner of records. Listed address, Pamela White. And Judge Horn represented her. And the county attorney represented her husband in the divorce. Isn't that right? So I just wanted to add that. That's very important, because in February the 5th, 2015, approximately 14 days before Judge Horn threatened to jail Rachel and held about 5 innocent bystanders in his court, he had great fun. This little stubby man, this little criminal, Greg, who puts people in jail daily, right? There is no independence or non-biased in this judicial, has been allowed to continue on with this fraud. So what I have to do is expose it. I don't care what any of you do. You got to lay your heads down at night. Every one of you have done nothing, and it will hit your family, because they're going to take your pension funds and hold our country. There is no way that this can continue, and you're not trying to fix it. The Consumer Protection Financial Bureau, they're a big farce. The Victims Compensation Fund, that's a big bunch of crap too. You guys are just totally out of control and totally criminal. And I have lost all confidence in you, and many other people will too. So here's a foreclosure. This attorney comes in and puts in February 5th, 2015, the date of 3/13. Rachel's closed her house on 3/14. Annette and Charles Scott signed on 3/13. I've been maintaining this all along, this anchor date thing. And you just saw that that is an anchor date. This is an anchor date. Right here. Addition to the city of Richmond. So here's the first page of it. And this is what the lady handed me. These are my notes as well. So they transposed these numbers in the original case when they came against Rachel for the wrongful foreclosure. They transposed these two numbers. That's important, but that won't be shown in this. But you see, there's deed records. One of the things that wasn't showing up was the sheriff's deed on the records. They told her that Paul Stickle was the seller, the title company did. And then there's a warranty deed, of course, but here's a sheriff's deed. Here's also another warranty deed. So we go down, and the lady from Freedom Title gave me these numbers as well. And here is a sheriff's deed. 4/23/2009. Now this is to the 422 Randolph Street, mind you, and it'll come up in a moment. $18 Doyle Legal. The document is exempt from sales disclosure form requirement of Public Law 63-1993, Section 2. And of course, this is underlined. There's nothing here. The indenture witnesseth that Paul M. Strittmatter, who is now the guy over excise, Governor Pence appointed him over that, so he was a sheriff of Wayne County, conveys to Deutsche Bank National Trust Company as trustee for the Carrington Mortgage Loan Trust Series 2005 NC3 asset-backed pass-through certificates. And it's hard to see this because there's some problems with this, but 1610 East St. Andrew Place, Santa Ana, California, in consideration for the sum of $98,000. And now this is important, $98,000, because Rachel reportedly made an offer of $68,000 that was accepted. So there's a $30,000 variance here. So here's the 938. You'll see lot number 14 in Richards Addition replat, now Oakland Place addition to the city of Richmond, Indiana. Also, and commonly known as 938 South 17th Street, Richmond, Indiana. Notice the 3 zeros on the zip. And then it goes subject to all liens, encumbrances, and easements of record. Charles and Annette Scott, the owners of the record, owned this as well. It was reported, and I have spoken with them, but this is... I want to say something. The October the 1st, 2008 date, October the 1st, 2006, is when Paul Stickle reportedly got the warranty deed on the 422 Randolph Street. Now, this is part of the anchor date search for the 422 Randolph. But October the 1st, 2008, 2006 is when the home for Annette and Charles Scott was reportedly sold at a sheriff's deed sale to Charles and Annette Scott. I mean, to Paul Stickle from the foreclosure 89D02 0206, which was the February of 2006, to mortgage foreclosure 025. That was the cause number back in 2006. So this is for the 938 South 17th, though. As you see, on October the 1st, 2008 is saying. October the 1st, 2006 is when and remember, I've already shown where the two cases are interloping by a month over time, how they're doing this. That's the same cause number where I show doubles and it's a month overlap. And this house is for $98,000. Rachel reportedly bought hers for $68,000. There's a $30,000 variance, but I'm going to show something later. This is a 938 South 17th. These are the reason for two warranties deeds in the present foreclosure case that just happened, and for two mortgages, and one of them being a mom's Mears mortgage. And that's where Holtman and R.K. Arnold probably should have testified, rightfully so. They should have said, oh, we're running them through the circuit courts throughout all the land. And the courts really are operating as a bank, because Judge Horn sanctioned Rachel and made her pay to the court taxes instead of the Treasury window. Right, Judge Horn? Right, Tammy Lynn Ortman? Andrew Thompson? All these attorneys, I've got all your names, I've got all your numbers, and I have all the facts. And there is no getting out of this one. Charles and Annette Scott, the owners of the record, owned this as well. It was reported, and I have spoken with them, but this is an anchor date search. This is all an anchor date search. There's 4 pages. Sales disclosure approved, Wayne County Assessor. It is witness wherefore I, the undersigned sheriff aforesaid, have hereunto set my hand to the seal and seal the 18th day of March 2009. And there comes the warranty deed that I just showed you in. Correct? The reason that's important is because this new lawyer, Tammy Lynn Ortman of Lewis and Capps in Indianapolis, she's a director. She came in with a fake warranty deed to the 422 Randolph Street. And she brought in a warranty deed of March the 18th, 2009. Well, Rachel's warranty deed to 422 Randolph Street was March the 18th of 2008, wasn't it, Tammy Lynn Ortman? And also, on February the 5th, she gave testimony and entered into the record as evidence the date of March 13th. March 13th, 2008. So that show for the 422 Randolph Street, March 13th, that ties it back through this document to the foreclosure mill that goes clear back to even prior to 2003. There is a foreclosure mill that is in operation in this country, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they've tied it in a nice little bow, and thought no one could ever figure it out. It's not hard to do when what's been being said in these briefs has been going on is true. And they want to play like, oh, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Hey, Judge Horn, you said, oh, I'm not, what kind of I don't want to put you in jail. What kind of a judicial officer would I be? What kind are you? Are you supposed to administrate estates this way? Have you been directed by someone to do this? Isn't there recordings on everything that tie right up to the United States Supreme Court, right? Every one of you are in trouble. When you do those redockets, the clerks, when you do those and you're allowing this system to go on and you're collecting and sharing funds on basically copies that you never made and you're running shadow dockets in the system, every one of you are guilty and every one of you need to go to jail. And Neil and Rich, You tell your people up on the hill or whoever you want to tell, I don't care. I want these public officials in their public official capacity, I want them arrested. I want them to be arrested just like anyone else would. I want this crime, you folks, to prosecute this crime. That's what I want. I reported it. I've done all the work. You know what's going on. And yet still to this date, nothing has been done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have to sue. I don't want to have to do any of this. I want this stopped. I want it stopped immediately. This is enough. So here, this is to the 938 South 17th. The property that Annette and Charles Scott owned in addition. So they're doing something when they have you send the tax bill to a certain place. They're tying it in the fake court system under that. And this is what's interesting. So here's 938 South 17th, and it goes on to show it is witnessed on the 18th day of March 2009. 18th day of March 2009, and I'll show this one to Rachel's place, and this is for the 938 South 17th. Rachel bought 422 Randolph. The anchor date search is for 422 Randolph, and here we go. 3/20/2003. That Pamela E. Medford, she's also known, folks, as Pamela E. White, an adult of Wayne County in the state of Indiana, conveys and warrants to Charles Scott and Annette Scott, husband and wife, lot number, and it's supposed to be lot 154. This looks like lot 164 to me, though. But we'll get to that later. In Haines addition to the city of Richmond, Pamela E. Medford and Pamela E. White are one and the same person. Terms and provisions are recorded in a land contract between Pamela E. Medford, formerly known as Pamela E. White, to Charles Scott and Annette Scott, husband and wife, recorded as instrument number 2002. This is a deal with Lingo Real Estate and their people. This is a subject, this 2002 thing, and I'll get to that later. But anyway, Charles is, so you send the tax. I'll go ahead and get to that now. That 2002 000943 in the clerk's entry under that, under Docs Pop. You can go look it up. You guys can do it on your dime from now on in. How's that? I don't have to. I can recall this from memory. That right there. The clerk put a note in to okay everything 20 days out. Okay, what? 20 days out. 20 days out. So they were going to correct or convert parties 20 days out. And that's Paul Lingle and Bayview Construction on the 938 South 17th. That's that document. Those are the original that's the original transactions that happened. There was also two other a young couple that bought it, but I suspect they were also, like Charles and Annette Scott, had their identities stolen. So the main thing is it's Judge Horn, Charles Hyde. Horn used to be partners with Hyde. There's attorneys involved as well in this judicial mill. A lot of them have taken their name off the dockets suddenly, but I have the original records. I also have bank accounts to all these property cards because they were operating a live system. Isn't that right, Miss Mayor Sally Hutton? I've reported all kinds of fraud to you guys, and nobody's doing anything but covering it up, correct? Shame on all of you. And I'll tell you what, karma is bad, because someday it's going to hit one of your family members, and you're going to be sorry you never did anything when you could. And your bosses are going to be sorry. I don't care what kind of a job I had. If I had to work under those kind of conditions, I would be a whistleblower and blow the whistle on the whole bunch of you, right? And you folks are flat enslaving people. These are human rights violations. This is against all kinds of international law. It's against contract law, UCC, and you just can't go around doing this. And you agencies that this has been reported to, you prosecuting attorney, police force, city council, common council, county council, all of you, this is not how you're to do business. That you are here because of taxpayers and people like me, voters. And look, you think that anyone was going to want to participate with this kind of crap going on? And Congress knows all about it. Play your little word games up there. Act like you're going to really do something, Trey Gowdy. Act like you're going to do something, Pelosi. All of you make me sick. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And I guarantee you, my grandfather told me he'd never seen it this bad. Guaranteed your parents and grandparents would be ashamed of you for letting this happen. Tax statement to Charles Scott and Annette Scott, 422 Randolph Street, Richmond, Indiana. It is witnessed, wherefore, that Pamela E. Medford and hereunto affixed her name and seal this 13th day of March 2003. Well, now, Rachel signed for her closing reportedly, and she was there. She thought she was closing. She thought she was buying a home. She didn't know they made her the seller on March the 14th of 2008, and they had her make the cashier's check out for March the 13th, and then claim something came up and she'd have to come in. And like I said in this before I ever did the other part where I showed February 5th, February the 5th of 2015, Tammy Lynn Nortman put the date of 3/13/2008 into the record as a date that Rachel signed something. So she came in to fix this matter, correct, Judge Horn? I'm going to go into your guys' testimony tonight. It'll be out today to the proper authorities, and it's not just going to be Neil and Rich. It's going to be other people. I'm sick of this, and I'll forward it separately because I've had it with nobody doing anything about this. And they backdated the insurance to the 13th. And that is an anchor date search, folks. This is an anchor date document to one property, not 938 South 17th. Oh, no. It is to 422 Randolph Street, showing other properties that are tied to the 422 Randolph Street. And as you see, it's an original. It said anchor date. She told me to remember anchor date. Remember, it's an anchor date search. So this is where the term anchor date came from me. I don't know about other people, but this came from me, and it came from my research when I went into the Land Records Office. So hopefully that helps, folks.